Mr. Shinde, to be a part of this milestone event, the 60th year Diamond Jubilee celebrations of the Freight Forwarders Associations, Triple FAI as you call it. All the distinguished guests, my colleague Shri Vivek Jori, Chairman of CBIC, Mrs. Matthew, Member CBIC, all the distinguished captains of the industry, off the dais, on the dais, friends from all across the country who have joined on this auspicious occasion, friends from the media, all the distinguished awardees. I can't tell you how much we miss Guru. Shri Guru Mahapatra was truly an invaluable colleague who in some sense worked right till the end in the service of the nation. From the ICU bed, he was monitoring the oxygen logistics and truly led a wonderful life, a life full of positivity, very friendly, very amiable, pro-progress and growth, and undoubtedly, while we all miss him, as I was reading in your coffee table book, and that's why I carried it along with me, Shankar Shinde writing, that we have a lot to learn from the past. You've written past is experience. And I think Guru Mahapatra really reflects a personality from whom we can learn a lot. You have also in your book written the present is experiment. And I think our very, very distinguished award winner today, who has made the country proud with his contributions to the country's security, the bold life that he has led in the service of the nation, protecting our borders, protecting our country, is the present. A nation which is full of resurgence, full of energy, a powerhouse which is willing to give it right back if somebody looks at us with an evil eye. And that is what you reflect, sir. Compliments to you and your family for your service to the nation. And the third point, Shankar, the chairman of Federation of Freight Forwarders Associations in India, has written, is future is expectation. I did not know that George is as yet of an age to get into the Hall of Fame. And therefore, I thought it is appropriate to reflect in his talent as a strategic thinker, the future of India. The world, the country, the countrymen, all of us business persons, all of us are looking for a bright future. We are all working towards a better world, towards a better, more prosperous nation. We wish to see our children better off than what we are today, as did our parents many years ago. And therefore, very appropriately, Shankar further writes, so use your experience in your experiments to achieve your expectations. So you actually helped me build the story around the past, present and future. And that is what 60 years should be all about. Reflections of the past, celebration of your achievements, pride in where we are today, but at the same time, we are living in a very, very challenging world. We are living in a world which has barely emerged out of the three challenges, whether it's COVID, whether it's the conflict going on in Ukraine and Russia, while one can look at so many other challenges like the container shortage you had, for example, a year or 2 years ago when we had a chance to meet very often. But I would put the third C as corruption. ये दीमक है और हमें इस दीमक से इस देश को बचाना है. If you recall Prime Minister Modi when he spoke about the Panch Pran in his August 15th address, while we as a nation were celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of independence. Along with the Panch Pran, and I can speak about the Panch Pran because I believe that's really the vision, the roadmap for the country for the next 25 years. He spoke of two other elements along with the Panch Pran. One was the Nari Shakti. How do we look at women-led development? How do we empower our women? And the other was eliminating corruption from India. And if collectively we have all decided we want to make India a developed nation, we want to see India as a prosperous nation, a nation respected and recognized the world over, truly bring back the good old times, make India the Vishwa Guru, which we were all proud to be once upon a time. Then the four other fronts that he had asked us to take. One, get out of the colonial mindset. And the colonial mindset is nothing but ऐसे ही चलता है, ये देश ऐसे ही चलता है, सालों साल से ऐसे ही चला है और यही होगा, यही होने वाला है. This mindset has to change. We have to get out of the past and live for the future for which we work in the present. That was the second front. The first was, of course, making India a developed India. And we are all a part of the making of developed India. It's another matter that when I say making of developed India, it becomes M-O-D-I. But when we unshackle ourselves from the past, from colonial thinking, from that mindset, we of course can't forget the roots, our traditions, our rich culture, our history, our strong value systems, the family value systems that we are all proud of. So you just mentioned about 3 generations. That's the strength of India. The fact that even today our children respect their parents. The fact that even today an elder is looked upon as a beacon of enlightenment, as somebody who will guide us, somebody who gives us encouragement. The respect we have for our elders. The love and affection we have of our children. This family value system, our rich history, is going to power our future. And we learn from the past. That experience is extremely important. And as I was browsing through your coffee table book and seeing the history of your association, how your federation was born, how the industry has progressed from dalals and mukaddams and clearing agents to the present day version where you're looking at ULIPs and technology and new platforms for e-bill of lading. That's the evolution. But we can't forget the past because we have a lot of lessons from history. Good, bad and ugly. Very often you have to unlearn from our experiences of the past. Equally important as you want to learn new things for the future. The fourth pran, of course, was very, very important. Again, links to your federation very well. The fact that you are an amalgamation of 30 federations. Similarly, the nation and its unity and integrity will always be paramount when we are preparing ourselves to become a developed nation. And he spoke about the ekta or ekjutta, unity and integrity of our beloved nation. But amongst all the 5 fronts, the first 4 will not happen, will not be successful, will not give us the segue to a prosperous and developed India unless each one of us is willing to accept our duties to our nation, to our profession, to our work, to our responsibilities with a sense of duty and commitment, kartavya bhavna. It's not as if we have just named the very important road leading from Rashtrapati Bhavan, passing through India Gate, the National War Memorial, as Kartavya Path only as a name. It signifies our collective conscience of 140 crore Indians, our collective commitment to work with a sense of duty to make India a developed nation. And very clearly, I think when we all get together with that sense of purpose, when we are all focused with a laser vision, अर्जुन आँख की तरह, अर्जुन की आँख की तरह, अगर हम सब ने ये भाव पैदा कर लिया कि हमें ये 5 प्रण और ये 2 साथ में जो विषय माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने रखे थे, इनको अपने हर काम में, अपने जहन में ले लेना. It has to become a part of our life 24 hours a day. It has to be something that will show us the pathways that we have to follow all through our life. Most of us in this room are in an age that we have seen a lot of things in the past. A lot of things that has led to frustration, anger, disappointments, unhappiness. But each one of us in this room, particularly the youth, and I see them in good measure, including your very own chairman of Triple FAI, they are going to give us that confidence. They are going to drive this change, the spirit that is required to change the past, to unlearn from the past, to bring in modernity into our working, to bring in transparency in our working, to make life easier for our stakeholders, to be open to new suggestions. And when the age and experience coupled with youthful energy and ideas come together, amalgamate as one, I believe there is absolutely no power on earth that can stop India and the making of a developed India. And if we all collectively, in our wisdom, take it upon ourselves that individually, I have to make a difference. Collectively, of course, we have to make a difference. But please don't leave it to the other person. Make it more inclusive. Internalize the change that you want to see. As they say, be the change that you want to see around you. There's so much we can do together as a united force. There's so many driving factors. The world is looking up to India's leadership. Never before has India ever seen the kind of recognition and respect that we are experiencing today. And it's not only that the Prime Minister experiences it. It's not only that we ministers or our colleagues in government experience it. आप याद करिए अगर भारत के पासपोर्ट को कभी इतनी अहमियत, इतनी इज्जत, इतना सम्मान आज से पहले कभी भी मिला. When you flash your Indian visiting card, the person in front of you for a moment has a gleam in his eye, has a twinkle in his eye, has that special respect. Oh, you come from India. The world is expecting India to power economic growth. World's economic growth is expected to be driven by the energy that India will demonstrate by our work here. Some estimates even seem to suggest that it's not a matter of a decade or two. This century is going to be India's century. I've done a lot of maths on numbers, looking at different scenarios, business as usual, optimistic, pessimistic. But there's absolutely no scenario which doesn't lead me to believe that India will be at least a $35 trillion economy when we celebrate 100 years of independence. In the most pessimistic of scenarios, what used to once upon a time be called our Hindu rate of growth, where we used to look at 4-5% growth annually. Because remember, growth compounds itself. There's a growth at constant prices, the real GDP growth. There's an element of growth that comes in through a nominal or a moderate level of inflation, collectively giving us a significant nominal growth, which does get affected by the rupee depreciating. And then net of that, we look at our Indian growth in terms of US dollars or the international parameters. If you look at the last 25 years, from 97 to 2022, we've grown roughly from a 3.5 or 3.8, $380 billion economy, from a $380 billion economy to a $3.5 trillion economy now. Almost a 10x growth in 25 years. Our base is still very small. Our population is no more a bane. It is a boom. What used to be once upon a time be considered as a problem is today an opportunity. And never before has India's fundamentals of the economy been as strong as they are today. We are sporting nearly $600 billion of foreign exchange reserves. We have the fastest growing large economy in the world and will continue to be so for many, many, many years into the future. When developed nations are seeing inflation at elevated levels as high as 10-12% against a normal inflation of 1 or 2% in their economies, which means 5x, 6x inflation. Our own inflation went up very nominally by 2 or 3 percentage points, even maxing out at about 7-7.5%. At max. Imagine a country which used to have 10-12% as a normal inflation. It is another matter that a former finance minister, when asked on television to explain that you are criticizing Mr. Modi's government for inflation, but in your time it was 10-12%. He blames it on another finance minister who is no more amongst us. That is the level and the sad state of affairs of the once upon a time grand old party and the party which claims to become a national alternative. We have never shied away from saying we are one government. We work with the whole of the government approach. We collectively take responsibility for our actions. You would never have heard a minister in the Modi government ever blame one or the other minister for anything. We internalize it. We are collectively responsible to all of you, our stakeholders, and to the 140 crore Indians. And remember, 2014-15, in the very first year, Prime Minister Modi mandated the Reserve Bank of India that it will be your principal responsibility to keep inflation in check. And I dare say, never before in Indian independent history, for the last 75 years, have we seen 9 years with an average inflation of about 4.5%. Never before. That's the astute management of the economy. A very strong and resilient banking system with ability to lend large amounts of money, with Mudra loans having been given to the small and deserving in 45, 50 crore Mudra loans probably, if not more. I think it's more like 60 crores now, of which 27 crores were to women entrepreneurs. The world's largest number of digital transactions. We are a force multiplier when it comes to digital and technology growth in the country. This year we'll have nearly 100 billion digital financial payment transactions through ULIPs. Could anybody in the world have imagined? We'll have more transactions than the US, than Europe, than China, any other country. Or probably all of them combined also. And at the lowest cost. Our digital payments are at the lowest cost. And I believe many countries in the world are today looking at adopting our India stack. I'm sharing all this with you, friends, to show you that we are in a very sweet spot. Strong fundamentals in the macroeconomic sphere. Exports have risen from 500 billion barely 2 years ago to 776 billion in the year gone by. 55% growth in 2 years. We have some headwinds, we have problems around the globe as we speak. Economies like the US, Europe, which are our biggest markets both on merchandise and services, are showing all signs of recession, of slowing down, tightening their fists. Probably for the first time we have a situation where interest rates in India are almost the same as the developed world. And mind you, when we have $600 billion of foreign exchange reserves, don't look at it only from the perspective of the IMF 10 months or 11 months of imports. I would look at it in terms of what is our current account deficit? What do we need to bridge? That is where the foreign exchange reserves will be useful. We have enough to bridge 5 or 6 years of current account deficit. That is the strength of India today. We continue to get $100 billion of remittances. Our foreign direct investment continues to grow in 8 out of 9 years, setting records in 8 years. Our stock markets are robust, are showing all signs of a very prosperous future, which is being factored in by the markets. In every sense, when we talk of $2 trillion of exports by 2030, it's eminently doable. And that's the big business opportunity before each one of you. And I would urge all of you to look at this future, to look at our merchandise growing from $450 to $1 trillion. services growing from 325 to about $1 trillion by 2030. And I see them both converging at 2 trillion in 2030. And no country in the world has become a developed nation without internationalizing its economy, opening up to the world and becoming a larger player in the world markets. Our exports as a percentage of global trade is increasing both in goods and services and will continue to grow. All of this, friends, on the back of significant government policy, whether in the Ministry of Finance, whether in the CBIC, whether in Revenue, Department of Economic Affairs, all the wings associated with finance, in commerce and industry, in other economic ministries, whether it's petroleum, coal, mining. The way our agriculture is growing, our production on agriculture, kharif production, I was seeing day before yesterday in the cabinet notes, has grown in the last 4 years from 280 million to about 25 million tons, 280 to 325, 45 million tons growth in barely 4 years. Amongst the only countries in the world where our production or food grain output is increasing so rapidly, giving us food security. All the signs are there for you to be more ambitious in your business. And with that ambition, I think technology will become a great enabler which will empower you to do even better work. We are, of course, working, the Cabinet Secretary, I'm told, recently reviewed the efforts to bring all of these onto one portal so that your life becomes easier, your business becomes easier. I hope you all are, as an industry, engaged with CBIC, with DGFT and all the other, the shipping ministry, ports ministry, to bring this together quickly. I also hope that I can count on you. Since you did not ask me for anything, I've also not decided not to ask you for anything. So I'm just couching it in as best a way as I can. Very uncanny of me, very uncharacteristic of me, because I'm normally a little more blunt, as some of you may have already experienced also. Maybe Shankar has, I'm sure. But I'm counting on you to help us become very transparent, very honest in our dealings, become whistleblowers if there's any wrongdoing happening, and help us to help you make India a prosperous nation, a developed nation. And please spare nobody. If all of you decide that you are not going to do any irregular practice, if all of you decide that you're going to tell your client this product is being irregularly classified, your bill of entry does not reflect correctly what the product is. If all of you decide you will not allow toys to come in through subterfuge or some other description on the bill of entry, if all of you decide you will not allow furniture to be smuggled in, and I say this because I am aware that there are touts across the ecosystem, everywhere. But we have two ways to deal with it. In our effort to clean up the system, we need your support. ताली तो दो हाथ से ही बजेगी. नहीं, अभी के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. I was using it in the sense कि कोई देने वाला नहीं होगा तो लेने वाले को कहाँ से मिलेगा? Can I hope that Triple FAI in its Diamond Jubilee year will persuade, cajole, convince appeal, do what it takes to get all of your members, all of your associations, chambers, to collectively commit that they will become completely honest and transparent in their working. Can we hope to hear that from you? देखो मैंने भी इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट दोनों किया है. इतना है कि मैं 2000 के बाद इंडस्ट्री नहीं चलाई है. 2000 पहले का रेट कार्ड मुझे याद है. शायद बढ़ भी गया होगा इन्फ्लेशन के साथ और शायद रुक गया होगा, मुझे नहीं मालूम. अब मैं नहीं करता हूं इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट. और वो आप लोग जब नॉन ट्रांसपेरेंट अपने बिल में मिसलेनियस चार्जेस ऐड करते हो सुविधा देने के लिए क्लाइंट को, क्या उसको रोका जा सकता है? कैन आई होप टू सी दैट फ्रॉम योर misdeclarations, wrongly classifying things into others, trying to break the queue, trying to avoid quality inspection. We need your support, ladies and gentlemen. और अगर आप लोग नहीं करोगे तो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी अकेले इस देश को नहीं बदल सकते. हमें 140 करोड़ जीवन में परिवर्तन लाना है और उसमें आप सब बहुत अहम भूमिका निभाते हैं. We bank on you. We trust you. We want to be even more trusted. मुझे याद है बीच में कोविड के दिनों में मीटिंग्स भी हुई थी कि शिपिंग बिल्स में बहुत एम्बिग्विटी रहती है. अ क्लाइंट इज नॉट एबल टू मेक आउट क्या एक्चुअल फ्रेट कॉस्ट है, क्या शिपिंग कॉस्ट है, क्या क्लियरिंग कॉस्ट है, वगैरह वगैरह. अब एक आपका सेक्शन तैयार ही नहीं था शिपिंग कॉस्ट को अलग से दिखाने के लिए. Frankly, I thought they were lame excuses. One can easily put the shipping, actual freight cost separately, but you need your collective conscience to decide that you want to be transparent. And once you all decide, then ना तो कोई सरकारी अधिकारी के पास ऑप्शन होगा, ना कोई क्लाइंट के पास ऑप्शन होगा, ना कोई शिपिंग कंपनी के पास ऑप्शन होगा. They'll all have to fall in place. 2-4 दिन की तकलीफ सहने की बात हो सकती है, पर आपके पास दो विकल्प है. या आप इस परिवर्तन में भाग लो, that is you participate in this transformation, this journey of change, journey of reform, journey of honesty, transparency, and earn our trust, या आप भाग लो, यानी कट लो, निकल जाओ. दिल्ली में कट लो बोलते हैं ना, तो या तो भाग लो या भाग लो. चॉइस आपके हाथ में. And I leave you with that thought. I can only once again tell you that I hope you don't regret calling me here today. But I can only conclude by saying that we wish to have a system where we can trust you blindly. We wish to have a system where honesty prevails. रात को जाके घर पे ठाट से सो, चैन की नींद सो. कोई चिंता नहीं कि किसी के यहाँ रेड होगी, कोई चिंता नहीं कि किसी के यहाँ पे पैसा पकड़ा जाएगा, कोई जरूरत नहीं कि कोई रंगे हाथों पकड़ा जाए और उसको सुसाइड करना पड़ जाए. आप समझ रहे हो मैं क्या इशारा कर रहा हूं? We can get rid of all of these problems, but again, we both have to work together. Industry, government, all stakeholders have a collective responsibility to the country. And remember, you or somebody in your family was privileged that you boarded a train or you boarded a state transport bus. Somebody in your family, maybe one generation, 2, 3, 4 generations back, somebody boarded a train. There may be a few who are exceptionally blessed with wealth for generations. I don't know about that. But I know my father studied under a street lamp to do his schooling, got the opportunity to become an engineer in Banaras at the Banaras Hindu University. God was kind to him, this nation was kind to him. He got an opportunity, which is why I am here today. Which is why each one of us is here today. Somebody in your family got that opportunity. But there are millions who are left out, who are left behind. And for the sake of those millions who are left behind, we owe it to them that they also get an opportunity. They also come and share the stage with me or come into this room and participate in the making of developed India. And for that sake, I appeal to all of you. Let's work together in a mission mode, fast track things. You tell us where things are going wrong on our end. For example, in DGFT, I've opened up a 1-hour window. Every morning, the DGFT senior officials are available on an open link. Any of you, anybody in the country, anybody in the world for that matter, can log into that VC. The link is given on our website. Possibly I'd ask them to send me the link also. It's publicly known. You can possibly, the meeting time is 10:30 to 11:30 every morning, Monday to Friday. 10:30 to 11:30. There's a VC, open VC. Anything related to DGFT, anything related to commerce, please flag it off in that VC. Some clients have said, "Hamara confidential hota hai, we don't want to do it in that." You can write a mail, seek a separate VC. My officials will give you a specific time and a link for a VC one-to-one. I have banned the entry of anybody into the DGFT office. Gradually, I'm moving everything out of the offices of DGFT. Everything will be only online. I think probably already most things, 90% are online. But agar kuch reh gaya to hame bata dena. We'll get that also online. I just don't want anybody ever to pollute the environment by driving to the DGFT office. Whatever DGFT offices remain will be only trade and investment promotion offices. Their job will be promotion or facilitation for investments and growth of trade. Not facilitation means sorting out your day-to-day problems. That will be on VC. All submissions will be online. And by the way, everything will be recorded. And if there's any irregularity, please reach out to senior officials, reach out to my office. Please help us change the past. Let's learn from the experience. Let's make the present our time to prepare for the future. And let's make the future a bright journey to prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, sir. But on a lighter note, though, you did say that you would not make any demands, but then nickel low, and nickel low is really no choice at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I take the pleasure of inviting Mr. Dushyant Mulani. He is the chairman-elect of Triple FAI. May I request you, sir, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah, good evening, friends. It's been a high-charged evening today with the, you can say, superstars of the trade. They are in a mission mode. And here we are with our Honorable Prime Minister's message to drive exponential growth for the trade. Let us all rise to this occasion. Thank you very much, Honorable Commerce and Industries Minister Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Chairman CBIC Shri Vivek Jory ji, Member CBIC Rama Matthew ma'am, Ivan Petrov, Fiat President with us, our Chairman, dynamic Chairman who doesn't let us sleep ever, and Mr. Shankar Shinde and the entire team, our past Presidents, Chairmans, Board of Advisors, members, trade bodies who are here, the who's who of industry today. Thank you for being here for 60th anniversary of Diamond Jubilee of Federation of Freight Forwarders in India. We are overwhelmed with your presence, and with great humility, sir, we would like to convey that the team present out here today comprises of entrepreneurs who are providing maximum first-time employment. Logistic, custom brokers and logistic industry we had a very informal survey wherein it was 55 to 65% of the people employed are first-time employment generation is being done. When we talk about startups, sir, I can very accurately say out here that more than 50% of the entrepreneurs, the companies are which have been set up are startups. We want to take ahead the message given by all of you. It's been a very reflective moment, as Mr. Jory said. Few days back, he had released a newsletter, and the first para in that was integrity, Satyanishta. Jory sir, we are fortunate to have a person like you, and in this journey, each one of us are indebted for message, and you've lived through your message, through your service, through your messages, through your day-to-day workings, and yes, trade has grown exponentially through your handholding, your guidance. And here, we've had such a great innings with, collaborative innings with CBIC. And it's been more integrated after COVID. And we've been able to get such kind of digital workings, operations in our custom clearances, which has set benchmark for the globe. There are several pointers which we are working very closely, I'm sure, with Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Finance, CBIC, will be working together. We have our eyes and ears on the ground. There are several suggestions. We are requesting for surely monthly reconciliatory meeting, because exporters and importers out here air their points, grievances or suggestions in a very progressive manner. We will take it ahead. We want to make this country create a ground for exponential growth. And this is in Amrit Kal of our Azadi. We want to ensure that to create a mechanism of growth through feedback, digitalization, set best performance benchmarks globally, and create Atmanirbhar Bharat in logistics. We want to ensure that the DHL and FedExes in next decade will come from India. And sir, we need your guidance for that. We need your support for that. In the end, we can say that what you have conveyed, eliminating corruption, Nari Shakti, Ekta, Kartavya Nishtha, we are all here with full-fledged support towards this and commitment. And at end of it, it is Sare Jahan se Acha Hindustata Hamara. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Mulani. Before we bid farewell to the Honorable Minister, sir, may I request you, sir, for your permission for a few photo ops. May I quickly invite the office bearers of Triple FAI. I request you all to please join us for a photo op with the Honorable Minister. Very quickly, all of you, please join us because we have a paucity of time. And next is office bearers of Triple FAI with all advisors. All advisors, please join us. Very quickly, please move because we don't have time. I request all the office bearers with trade associations of Triple FAI. Office bearers with trade associations of Triple FAI. Office bearers of executive committees of Triple FAI, please join us. Some of you can stand off stage, please. Let's not crowd the stage. There's no space here. You will not even be visible in the photos. Some of you can stand off stage. Let's try and accommodate everybody. Some of you can stand off stage. Let's try and accommodate as many as possible. Let's try and accommodate some people off stage. Because if everybody gets on stage, nobody will be visible. They're already... Yes, we can make use of the stairs also. We once again thank the Honorable Minister, sir, for giving us this opportunity. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we have come to the end of the formal part of this evening, but the fun and the festivities continue. So, we have some enthralling entertainment, amazing food.